Hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a bit of a preview of a game that I picked up while I was at BGG-Con when I was looking forward to, called Last Bastion by Antoine Bauza, and I'm going to explain why I was looking forward to it. It is a game by Repos, and it's for 1 to 4 players, 14 plus, about 45 minutes to play. Now we're not going to play the whole game today. I just want to talk about the game and do a couple demonstration rounds, show you how it plays. I do currently have the game set up for a two-player round, a two-player game. No matter how you set up the game, you do have it. It is set up for 4 players, board-wise, but that's not how that works. Now you're always going to have this map layout. Now this could be in a different order. These center tiles could be in a different order, which is interesting because you put them out at random. It does add for some variety of the game. But if you have ever played Ghost Stories, then you have played a version of this. This is the successor to Ghost Stories, and it's rethemed with more of a medieval theme, and it's been streamlined a bit. I think it's been streamlined. It seems a little streamlined, seems a little faster. Components are a little different. There are some different things about it, which we'll talk about, but it is basically the same game, which is okay to me because I like Ghost Stories. And one of the things I do like about this over Ghost Stories is it seems like in the original Ghost Stories you had these 4 generic monks, red, green, blue, black, but in this game you have actual characters that have special abilities and miniatures that go along with them, and it's not as generic as the original was, which I like that aspect of it. It's also a medieval fantasy, which is a little more appealing to me than the notion of a monk's town being assaulted by ghosts, even though I like that a lot, and it's nice to have different themes. But it is basically the same game. So if you've never played Ghost Stories, it is a really difficult to win cooperative game. Probably one of the most enjoyable games to lose that I've played in my history of gaming. I don't mind losing it because it's such a fun experience, and this one is quite similar. Though I will say I do believe in some aspects it might be easier, and the only reason I say that, or maybe it's just because I'm better at the game, but when we played it a couple of times, we actually won one of those, and that was surprising to me, especially being that I hadn't played Ghost Stories in a while, and this is new with some new mechanics. So maybe it is a little easier. Hard to say. But let's take a look at the gameplay, and we're going to first take a look at the characters that we have. Now, I've set up the everything. So this is the deck that is our monsters and our timer. Down about 8 cards in is the big bad guy, chosen at random. There's a bunch of those too. Otherwise, the deck remains the same, except some cards come out of it when you play with fewer players. So you have a shorter, smaller deck, and that is basically how what is used as the main mechanic for the game. These cards represent creatures that are going to be coming out and attacking our town. We are defending it. It is the last bastion of humanity, and we're trying to defend it against evil. So you can see a couple things out on the board. These tiles all have different powers. It's very easy to figure out. There's a very good cheat sheet with the game. It's extremely good, actually, and I do like it. It talks about the different horde boards, what they mean. It has every single bastion tile, every single icon on it, just on that. And there's quite a few icons, but once you get playing with it, it has all the character special abilities. We're going to go through each of those a little quickly. It has what the corruption dice does, and again, these boards do something different, which is a little different than now. In the original game, the monsters did different things. They were themed by their color, but in this, it's twofold. The monsters and the board have a different thing that they get to do. So let's take a look at that. Why don't we start with the characters, because I think that's one of the most unique aspects of the game. So I just wanted to show you this. Each of the characters has a miniature that goes with the character that you're playing. So, for example, if you are playing the big paladin, Sindara, there she is, and there is her miniature. I like that aspect a lot because I think it's more interesting to have a character you can personally tie to. Sindara is pretty neat. And again, they all have a special ability. So taking Sindara, putting her here, we're going to take a look at this just to give you an example. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but her power is really well and clearly laid out in the game book right here. It says Sindara. Sindara is a peerless paladin. Loved by the crowd, she can always count on the support of the population, even in thick of battle. So during her hero phase, Sindara can both use an action of the Bastion tile and enter combat. in the order of her choice, before or after movement. Now, that's actually really, really powerful, because normally you can do one or the other. So if you're on the board, for example, let's say you're here, and you have a monster here and a monster here, or either one, let's say it's just a monster here, you can choose to either fight that monster or take the action of that tile. Her ability is she can choose to fight that monster and take the action of the tile. That's pretty good. Now, there is a limitation. You can only take it from the tile you move to. So if I move here, then those are my choices. But still, typically you only get to do one or the other. So she has a pretty powerful ability. We'll take another one too. Let's just take another. We'll show you. And the artwork on these is great. By the way, all the characters also start with 3 health and a call to arms token, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But let's take a look at Karzig. He's one of the most straightforward ones, right? This is his mini, as you can see. They're good minis. They look good. They're definitely good quality for board games, which is fine. You know, you don't have to assemble them or anything, which is even better. But let's see. So Karzig, he's got the ability, says during his hero phase, when Kazgin performs a combat action, he rolls a 4th dice, the gray die. In addition, he never suffers negative exit effects from horde monsters. So, you know, you want to strategically plan him where he's going to be taking on the horde monsters that have a really bad negative exiting effect, and you'll see what that means when we go through a round or two of play. And that's basically how the characters work. Now, I might as well take those 2 characters and make them ours. So how do we do that? So in Last Bastion, color matters. The color board that your character is facing actually has a different effect on you and the game, depending on where you're at. So typically in a 2-player game, you're going to place each other on the opposite sides of the board. So there's Sindar's board right there. Sorry for the glare a little bit there. And then Kazgin is right here. Now they both start in the game, and they both are going to start in the middle of the town there. And that's okay. And you notice I put bases on them that match the color of their board. Now it matters because when Kazgan, his board fills up, he starts to have a negative effect. You can see there's some symbology on here that shows a symbol. So basically, if there's still open spaces on his board and I need to place another red card down or neutral card, then we're going to do that. We're going to place a card. That's simple, right? But if it's full, we're going to end up doing this. So 3 cards we're going to end up, he will take a wound. So that's Kazgin specifically will take a wound up for having his board filled up and not being able to put another monster card down. While separately on Sindar's board, you can see that when her card is filled, it has this little symbol. Well, what that means is underneath the boss here, there are a number of cards. These, if her board is filled, we're going to take one of these and exit it from the game, which means once the boss is revealed, we have fewer turns to try and beat him. So it limits our ability to defeat him at the end of the game. That's this one, and I'll go over the other ones just to show you what they mean, just to give you an idea. You will see these during play, but when the blue card fills up, that means that the character, you have to choose a character each round that cannot move. It can still act in the space, but it can't move. And then last but not least, the yellow board. Basically, as you're rolling the black, I think it's called the chaos die, or corruption die rather, corruption die, which will do bad things and cause bad stuff to happen, and it's in a bag that I apparently cannot open. Anyway, it looks like that right there. Let's get back this die right here. I'll have it out in a moment. And that die gets rolled quite often for a variety of things. Monsters make it happen, all kinds of stuff. And then once again, while it might seem a little complicated, it's really not. Each of these tiles has a very specific ability as well. They're very clearly labeled in the book with the guide here. It's so easy to follow. So, for example, if we just want to go down, I'll give you some examples of it. It's pretty, again, really straightforward. But the tavern is right up here. Now, in the tavern, when you're there, you can activate it to allow the player to grant the hero of their choice a life token and 1 movement. And that's why it shows the life and that. So you can go there and say, hey, be healthy, hale and hearty, and also move around the board, right? This one allows you to basically move 2 of the enemy cards to different places. That might give you an advantage. That is called the Strategist's Tower. And then the third one, well, interestingly, they came out in some kind of order. That's really bizarre. The third one there is the market. Basically, you roll 2 dice, 2 colored dice, and they give you the tokens, the resource tokens or items corresponding with that color. Now, like I said, these dice, this is something that was common in Ghost Stories as well, where you roll dice and you have these tokens that helped you mitigate the chance factor in trying to defeat monsters. You could use those tokens to defeat your enemies. Yeah. And then right here you have the, let's see, that's the apothecary, or dispensary rather. You can give, from the reserve, 1 available equipment token to any player. That's pretty good. And heal a taken out hero. Now, what does that mean? Well, heroes have 2 sides of their board. If they're defeated once, they flip over. You can see he's all beaten, battered, but he loses his special ability. So if they get defeated, they're technically out of the game, but you can go to the dispensary to bring him back on this side and give him another shot. It's not much of a shot, but it's a shot nonetheless. That is very different than the old game, than Ghost Stories. And then let's see, what's the next one up? We'll take a look at the Divine Fountain, the one in the middle where we're at, right there. That allows you to basically take 2 of these evil tokens off the board. I can't remember what they're called. They're called, let's see, where is that? Player 2 grasp of evil tokens. They look like this, and they're going to end up going out on the board as well over time, which make, and if you ever have 3 of those on the board, you really have to manage that, because if you ever have 3 on the board, the game is over. Yeah, so that's how that goes. Let's see, and then there's the Tomb of the Ancients. Is a real simple one. You can take a health to kill any monster on the board that you want. It's really that simple. But you can't kill and the reason that's up there is because you can't kill the big boss, the warlord. And then there's a couple really neat things on here. This one with the net, again, you can't use it on the warlord, but you can throw this net on one of the powers. You catapult it in, it goes on one of the powers of the monsters. So that power, that ongoing effect of that monster no longer has any ability to affect the board. Then you have the, what's it called, the Dwarven Quarry right here with this bomb cart. You can put the bomb cart in a space, and as soon as a monster hits there, it blows up. We did find in the game that we won, we used this quite heavily at the beginning, so I think that's a wise thing. Yeah, it's pretty good. Also have this standard. That's the other unique item in this version of the game. Hopefully, I wonder if they're going to expand this like they did with Ghost Stories and give some more functions and capabilities. But basically, you hang a banner off there, and that means that the monsters of that color take 1 less or 1 less damage to kill of that color. So if you're fighting a blue monster, you can take, if it takes 3 blue icons, such as this, to kill it, then this will reduce it to 2. There's other ways to do that too. There's some characters that have the ability to reduce things like that, particularly the Bard. I really like her ability. It's pretty neat. That's her right there. She has this ability to put this token out, and it basically does the same thing as that banner, but to a specific monster. So it's still pretty effective. Plus, she gets to move and fight and do all that stuff. So anyway, that's kind of the general concepts. Now, if I'm going to set up I'm going to get his name right, Kazgan here. I'm going to give him 3 hearts. I'm going to give him a call to arms token. What does this allow you to do? It allows you to use, you can spend it to use any one of the actions on the map. That's pretty effective. And then also, he gets a resource in his chosen color, so red. He's got that resource there. And similar to Sindara, she's going to have 3 health tokens, a green token, and a call to arms token right there. And that's the setup for the game. That's really it. That's all you have to do. The only thing that really takes any thought and preparation is choosing a character, putting a color base, which color it's going to go on. But if it's in a 4-player game, it doesn't really matter. Everybody's going to have to take it. And then setting up the monster deck. That's really it. So that's the basic setup. Let's talk about the gameplay. So in this game aid, you're going to see 2 things. One is, this is the same thing. It's just 2-sided. So I'm showing you 2. You're going to first take the Horde phase. And it says action, activate the reoccurring effects of the Horde monsters. You'll see what that means. There's an effect in the middle of their card. That's the one that gets activated at that time. Then we're going to take an action. We're going to draw a card, and it's going to go out on the board. Or if a board's full, we're going to activate a board's effect. If it's on a neutral board, we're going to activate the board's effect if it's full. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. So in a 2-player game, how it mitigates kind of having multiple players, is the only time you're going to draw a card is on a active player's board's turn. That doesn't mean the other boards don't have an effect. They do when they're full. So that's the horde phase. Now once that's completed, you're going to go to your hero phase, and you're going to do, it's going to be simple. One movement and one action. You can do them in either order you want. You can move first, act and move. You have two things. This symbol means activating a Bastion tile, meaning activating the power of a tile, or you can enter combat. Now you know that we have a character that can do both, so that's pretty cool. Movement, basically we can move in any direction in one space, and at any point during our turn we can spend our call to arms token to activate a Bastion tile. And we can even do that even if it's been taken by the Grasp of Evil. Now, these Grasp of Evil tokens, usually when they're on a space, you cannot use that space any longer, but with a Call to Arms token, you can. And that is the basics of the game. So really straightforward, right? But a lot more difficult and more strategic than you might imagine. So let's get into the game and show a couple of rounds, show you how it's going to go. Again, I'm not going to play this whole game. I have some other games that need to get to the table. Though I do enjoy this game a whole bunch and can imagine playing it a bunch. I played Ghost Stories. I still have it in my collection. It's one of the ones I've kept. Of course, I keep a lot of games. I have too many. But I did keep it, and it will remain in my collection as something that I'll play from time to time. Anyway, the first thing we do is we take this deck. Now, I can't shuffle that deck or cut it anymore, so you're going to have to trust me that I did my part and didn't stack it. But we're going to take the first card, we're going to draw it, and I'm going to show you what that does. Now, this is taking that horde phase. The first thing we do is activate powers on the board, but there aren't any yet because we're just starting. So this is going to be our first critter. It's going to be green, so it's going to go onto Sindara's board. Okay, it's an Orcish Ballista. Now, what this shows you is a couple things. One is, has no on-entry effect. If it had an entry effect, meaning when it came into the game, it would have a power here. You'll see that. It does have an ongoing effect on when I hit the green tile. It will first put generate a token of evil here. And then we have one turn because the next turn it will go out on the board. And then if we defeat it, it has a good effect. We're going to get the resource of our choice. So this ballista is going to shoot an evil thing, this dude right here, into the town and cause us to have a problem. This goes into his first slot, into her first slot rather. It doesn't mean anything. Now I'm actually taking Kazgan's turn. So while that does hit her board, it doesn't do anything at the moment because it didn't have an on-entry effect. So it just comes in there. We know that this ballista guy is coming up and he's going to launch something into the town. We got 2 turns to kill him and figure it out. Now we could also net him, poosh, and deal with that as well. So one of the boards that I like the least, actually, there is the red and the yellow. Those 2 boards, because one does direct damage, and the other one, that chaos die, you never know, corruption die. More monsters might come out. You could lose tokens, you could lose health, you could lose both, and you can have a corruption evil thing come out right away. So I don't like those at all. So that's one of the ones we're gonna have to solve as we get on. But right now, it's the first turn. We don't have to do all the stuff on that horde phase because there's not that much to do. We already did it, and a monster came out onto the board. What we're going to do is we're going to take Mr. Kazdan here. He's going to go right here, and he is going to place this out. Now, I think for the start, since him and the other board yellow board are pretty bad, I think what we're going to do is we're going to place the bomb cart in the first space of his own board. Well, he's going now. It doesn't matter really. We're going to place it on his own board. So that means that bomb card is right there. Now, when a monster comes out, if it's red and goes on his board, remember, they go on the colored board that they have, unless they're black, and then you get to choose which board they go on. And also, if they're full, remember, you just activate the ability of the card. You don't draw a card. So, again, right now, that's early. So, that is his complete turn. He moved over here. We didn't go after this creature yet. He really doesn't have the ability to do that. And so far, so good. So we're not going to have to worry about that. I think that we're going to not worry about that green creature much at all. And I'll tell you why. But that's the end of his turn. So we go to the yellow board. There are no monsters on it. It's not full. So we just skip it over to her turn. So now it's her turn. And we're going to draw a card for her. Let's see what she gets. Wow, it's another green one. That's weird because I did definitely shuffle this and we played it a few times. This does have an on-entry effect. So you can see now, oh wait, this is black, rather. This is a black card. I can put this anywhere. So if I really want to, I think it's a good idea. Even though he's weak, I think it's a good idea to say, you know what? Black card I get to choose. I'm going to place him where Kazdan's board is right here. And the bomb cart is going to blow him up. Just like that. And that is the end of the first monster. He didn't make it. And this is good because there's a couple things. One is he locks a die from us, which is really bad. Now, when we blow him up, we don't get that award, but we don't have to deal with a second monster coming out this turn as well, which could be a really tough monster. So that was a good thing to do. And that was basically the horde turn for Sindar's turn. Now we're going to take her action. Now, I think what we're going to do with her is that green guy, he actually takes 3 green, so he's not really that wimpy. There's a couple things we could do. I think for the first turn, her first turn, we're not going to go fight him. What we're going to do is we're going to neutralize him. We're going to go here and we're going to launch the catapult. Okay, and what that's going to do is place this little net token on that middle ability there. It means it won't trigger when it comes around to her turn again. Pretty cool, right? So next time, actually, I should have done that first. I apologize. He does have that on there already because he would this would have triggered before we took her turn. My bad. Anyway, I'll get in the rhythm. Anyway, but we're going to stop it. So this thing is here. It would come out here and end the ability to use that power, but we've stopped it for now until we've gotten the opportunity to defeat that creature. Now there's no creature in front of her. She's standing right here, so there's nothing to fight. Okay, let's move on to Kazdan's turn again. Oh, sorry. Well, we would pass the green board. The green board has nothing on it, and then or blue board rather, and then we're going to go back around to Kazdan on his red board. Now he doesn't have any monsters, so there's nothing to activate. And we're going to take this and draw it out. This is another black one. Wow. Okay. Well, this one means that whoever, when we draw him, he's going to take a health. Now, if I place it on one of these neutral boards, we get to choose who that is. Since Kazdan is on the board, yeah, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take. Here's what we're going to do. Now, you still have to place them in order. I'm not sure how I want to do this yet. I don't have the resources to kill them. I mean, I do. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to place this one. Let me think. Sorry, must be placed on the horde board of the active player, so we don't have that choice. It's going to go right there, and that activation ability is going to mean that Kazdan is going to take a damage. That's not a good way to start. We got to kill that clown, right? Okay, that is the action. So now it's not going to trigger. This middle ability is not going to trigger because he just entered. It won't trigger till his next turn. So we have a couple of turns to do something about that. Let's see. We got a green and a black out there. What's the best thing that we can do here? Let's see. I think I can only move one. Let's do this. We're going to move one to here. Now remember, he gets to do a lot of good fighting, so we got to get him in a fighting position. I kind of want him to get to that guy right there. So maybe we'll do this. Yeah, I don't want to waste his turn either. If he moves here, this isn't going to do anything right now because we don't have any of those on the board. Though I do get to, I could remove the one from that card that's over there as well. I'm not worried about it though. I think what we'll do is we're going to take and we'll put out the green banner for right now, just because I have a feeling that that's going to come into play. I don't. We have a pretty tough green monster, tougher than the black one. We just don't have any black tokens. But that's okay. We get to roll extra dice with Kazdan and everything else, so that's some good stuff there. And that's going to be the end of his turn. So we go to the yellow board. There's nothing there. We go to the green board. We would activate his ability now, but because we have netted it, we've put the net on it, we don't activate it. And then we draw a new monster card. Another black one. Wow, this is bad. So this is going to go on. It's only one. That's not too bad. I think she can kill it, actually. On entry, it is going to place out a Grasp of Evil token. I just got to remember if that one means onto the board immediately or onto its board. I'm just going to check that real quick and double check that power. That arrow just means on entry, so when he came into play, he came out with one of those on his board. Now it is our turn. Now remember, we get to activate an ability. Since we didn't activate her abilities there, I think it might behoove us. We need tokens. We have 2 green. Right now that green creature is only 1. So I can do a couple of things here before we get around to Kazdan again. I think we're going to do this. We're going to move to here. Okay. That's going to be our action. Remember, we can take... I'm debating on whether or not I do this or not. I may not do that yet. But we're going to stop there, and I'm first going to fight this guy. Now, right now you can see that it has 3 green symbols, but we have the green banner up, which means he's down to 2 symbols, and she has a green token. So her chances of getting a green or a white is wild, is pretty good. Now, there's some cards that block the wild, but let's see if she can kill this guy. Whoa, 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 too many dice. Hold on. With 3 dice. We'll roll them here and see. We did get a white and a green, so that's good. So that means we definitely killed that critter that's there. Now remember, this goes back here because we defeated the monster. This comes off the board, and this guy is dead. Now we get a reward for that of a token. I think we're going to take a, since we're having a lot of black cards come out, black monster cards come out, we're going to take a black token. Now she's got a green and a black token, and we didn't need to use our token to defeat that monster. Now, question of the day is, I can defeat one of the other 2 by activating the ability there. They're not that tough. I mean, it almost doesn't feel good enough to take a wound on that, but I also don't want to waste the action that she has there, because we're going to be able to stop this thing. So let's do this. We are going to do that. We're going to pop this wound off of her, and we're going to destroy this guy here, the Venom Maidens. I see they're riding a big venomous snake. Now, with that, I got to check. Do we get the ability of the card? I don't remember. We'll look at the ability to see if we actually get to defeat it when we destroy it in that way. Any exit monster effects is not applied. Okay, that's okay. So we're not going to get the resource, but we did get to defeat that critter. So we've killed 3 monsters so far, and our boards are staying pretty clear. It's not too bad. It's going to get worse. I promise you, it escalates pretty quickly. Of course, there's nothing on the green board yet to activate, or blue board rather, so we're just going to skip that board. If there was something here, we would activate its ability, even though it doesn't actually get a turn, like drawing a card. But we do have to place a card on this guy, the newborn vampire right here. He's going to take out the tavern if we don't get over there and do something about it. And that's all he does. So then we're going to draw a new card. It is a... is that really another black monster? I shuffled this, guys, I promise you. Wow, this one's really nasty, too. Cannot use tokens. I think it's the current player cannot use tokens. Let's take a look at that one. This Mind Crusher. The players each lose 1 round token, equipment, or call to arms. Okay, so basically, when it comes into play, we're each going to lose a token. Well, since everything is black on there, I guess we have to use lose our red token from Kazgan. That is a must. That's on entry, and I think she'll lose her green token. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Crazy enough, the red one is getting full. I don't like that all these same colored ones are coming out. That's not good. What can we do here? I think that we could. Yeah, this is rough already. Because see, it's already becoming challenging. But I think we're going to head toward the tavern, and in doing so, we're going to move here first. That gives us the ability to get a token. I think we're going to grab a black token from a poisoned knife or whatever it is from the resource pool. And I think we're going to use our call to arms action actually as well. Yeah, we're going to use our first call to arms action. So this means we can use the ability of any tile. And I think what we're going to do with this one is we're going to take the bomb and we're going to put it right there, because I do not want his board to get filled, because then he starts taking damage. He's already taken 1. We haven't had the opportunity to heal yet. Oh, you know what I didn't? Oh yeah, I did. I put that out there, and then I drew the card. Okay, so we're good there. Now on the next turn, this will go out onto the board and destroy the tavern, so we're going to try and do something about that, and I think I can. So we're going to go to the yellow board. You see there's no monsters, nothing to deal with there, nothing on the green board at all, so we don't have to activate anything. We just have to draw a card for the paladin. Wow, it's a red card. Wow, that was lucky, because that would have filled his board up. So this butcher gets blown up by the cart. Boom. That was a worthy use, even though it's a weak monster, it's a worthy use of the call to arms token. And now we have nothing to deal with, so we're in pretty good shape. We can start to head towards some critters, right? Because the board's not full, or she's not being as effective as she needs to be, but she's going to go here and launch the net. And we're going to launch it at this guy here and lock his ability up, because we do not want it coming onto that token to come on the board. Though we are going to have to roll a chaos die. I'm going to leave that there. Normally I might block that first, but I thought I'd show it to you, so you could see what happens when that the whatever corruption die is rolled. So that's going to be the end of her turn. That's all she can do. She really has nothing to fight, so she moved there and launched the catapult, at the creature. And I don't know if I'm playing super strategically well right now. I'm just trying to show you the game, show you some turns, that sort of thing. Okay, next we're going to go back to the blue board. There's nothing on the blue board, so we don't have to worry about that. It is empty still. We've been doing nothing but creatures that come out either black, red, or green, which is really interesting. And now we're going to go back to Kazgin's turn. Now, remember, he doesn't suffer any of the negative effects. I think it's just negative effects. I think that would be terrible if he couldn't get the positive effects, because then you wouldn't want him killing. He never suffers negative effects. Okay, so because these are both positive effects. This is getting a new call to arms token. That's getting a heart. So I think we're going to keep him there. Now, he can't both attack and... he's better off... Here's what we're going to do with him. We are going to move him to the tavern. He's going to... Man, I should have... You know what? If I'd thought about it... In fact, I'm going to take it back just for the purposes of demonstration. We're going to say she launched this here because he's going to move here. We would have coordinated this effort. He's not going to take the action of the tile. He's going to attack the critter right there. Because the critter also gives him a wound when he defeats it. So we're going to go roll some dice. Now he's got a black token, so that's helpful to him. That means that he only needs one black to kill that thing. Let's hope he can get it. He's got extra dice too, which is much more helpful. Again, normally you roll 3 dice, but he gets to roll this extra gray die. Let's see what he gets. He got a black and a wild, so he did succeed at killing that guy. That gives him basically the effect of the tavern except for the movability. We killed this little vampire guy, and because of that, we're going to get the beneficial effect of a wound healed back to him, and that is the end of his turn. Okay, so again, we look at the yellow board, there's no monsters on it. The green board, there's no monsters on it. We're doing pretty good so far. Now we're going to go to her turn. The first thing, of course, we're going to do is draw a horde card. Now, a first blue one came out. Now, these are themed. Remember, they're all themed, but this seems to require one. He's not very tough. It is going to have a monster come out, and during our turn, we cannot use tokens. I don't think, I've got to look and see if that's tokens to period or we lose a token. The player must lose a token. So when he activates, not this turn his ability is on entry. So we're going to draw a second monster. This is where things can get bad. So it's going to be a yellow, and this one's not going to have any entry ability, but it will bring out a bad card. So what we're going to do there is place this one out here. So we have a blue and yellow on the board right now, but it is our... And the yellow one's actually pretty tough. It is the turn of our paladin character. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go... She's going to move to here, Sarandon, and she's going to activate that ability there of the building, which means we're going to roll 2 dice, and we're going to take the resources associated with those dice. If we get lucky, she gets some yellows. Wow, I rolled the wrong die, but it's the same die. It doesn't really matter. It would have been this one anyway. Yeah. There, we rolled 2 yellows, actually. That was pretty good, because I rolled it on this one. This is the same thing. It's just the gray die for the dwarf. Just picked it up by accident. Anyway, we're going to get 2... Oh, I'm sorry, I only rolled... I'm still doing it wrong. I only rolled 2. Well, let's see if we get lucky again. Now we get a yellow and a blue. That makes more sense to us, right? Okay, a yellow and a blue token. So now we got a yellow, a blue, and a black, so we're doing okay there. I think she might as well attempt to kill it, because while it has 3, she's got a yellow token. She needs 2 yellows or a yellow and a wild to kill it. Let's see if she can do it. She gets to do it anyway. After activating the power of the building, she can attack. That's her special ability. Might as well take advantage of it. She did not gain anything to kill it, so she missed. And because she only has 1 yellow token, we could do... No, it's too late now. We're not going to do it. We are fine, I believe. Yeah, we're going to leave it there. That's going to be the end of her turn, so it's not going to do anything for a little while anyway. However, we are going to move to the blue board now, and this is going to give me the ability to show you. Even though there's no player on this board, we're still going to do this. So, because it's on a neutral board, an active player gets to choose what token to lose, and I think we'll have to lose... lose this black token from the paladin right now as our loss for this card, and that means it is activated. Now we're going to move... That's it for that. Now we're going to move to the red board. Normally, this Mind Crusher would activate, but because we cast the net on it, it does not. And then we're going to go on to drawing a card for Kazgin's turn. It is another blue one. Wow, they're coming out en masse. Now you see the blue ones are themed. They're taking tokens and drawing monsters out. So we got a second blue one, and oh my gosh, a third blue one. Wow. So the blue board is full. It means we need to clear some things. We really need to clear some things off. That's not great. I think Kazgan actually might not move. He might stay right where he's at, and I'll show you why. Here's what we're going to do. He's going to activate the power of the tavern on... Now, he can still move after that, so he's going to activate. He'll activate the power of the tavern on her. This is going to be pretty rough. See, it's actually starting to get really challenging for us on Sarah, whatever her name is, Sindara. And that is going to give her a health back and allow her to move. Got to get somebody down to the blue section. So she moves there. Now she's got options. She can move to any space there on her turn, and she'll get to kill at least one of these before, most likely this one, before we have to deal with anything. Too bad she can't get two of them. That would be awfully nice, but that's that. So that's the end of that. Now we move on to the yellow board. You can see that we wouldn't activate new monsters. We are going to put a token out there per the card. That token is going to take out the market, which is not good, but we have the ability to remove those things from the board. And I think I'm going to wrap it up with just a couple more turns. This is really giving you a good idea of all the different things that happen in the game. Now we are on to Sindara's turn. She has nothing on her board, so we're going to draw a new card for her. And it is going to be red. You're going to see on entry, it's going to roll the Chaos die. Now, unfortunately, that is going to affect the active player. So the Sindara is going to roll this, even though it's on the red player's board. Sindara is the active player. So, wow, that's really bad. Right off the bat, the tavern is kaput. This comes out right there. Bam, just like that. Wow, that's rough. Okay, so the tavern has been tainted by evil. Now you can see, now we cannot use that without the use of a Call to Arms token until we've cleared that off. And unfortunately, I didn't really want Sindara to do that. But it's her turn right now. And I think that what we're going to do, because we don't want to have a new monster, extra new monster come out every time that board activates, which it would right now. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to move her there. And she's going to attack the this Cult Master. Now she can also use that ability, and she's completely healthy, so she's probably going to, and take one of these other guys out. We'll see. But to start with, she moved there, and then going to attack. She did not get a blue, so So we're going to have to burn our token. That's okay. Burn the token to kill him. He's gone. Now he does not have a reward, which is another thing about the blue ones. You notice they don't have rewards. They're wimpy, but they don't do much either, except for cause nuisance. So anyway, we made sure that board wasn't full. Now, the question of the day, does she use her power? Does she use her power? I think so. I think she is going to use the power of the board, rather. She's going to use this location here. This will cost her a wound, and she's going to kill this one here, because this one's pretty tough. And we're going to lose the yellow tokens, so this one goes. Now again, because she used that ability, she does not gain the benefit, which sucks, but at least it keeps the board clear. That's the end of her turn. So now we're going to really get to show some things. As we moved on this board, while we're not going to draw a card, we are going to activate these two things. So we have to give up tokens, actually, two. Now, if you can't give up tokens, I just think nothing happens. But I'll double check that just to be sure. In their possession, so the players must lose one round token. Equipment. So basically what that means is, well, they both lost this token. This activated twice because there's two of those guys there, and she's going to lose her Call to Arms token too. I should have used it last turn and killed another one of these guys or something. But that's the way it goes. She can kill those pretty quickly, so can he. I'm not too worked up about that, but we don't have any tokens. That sucks. Okay. Anyway, that's the end of that blue board. Now we're going to go to the red board. Here's a cool thing. The red board. This is on entry, so there's no activating, so it's just him drawing a card. Let's see what he gets. Well, it's going to be red, and it means that we're going to have another monster enter on entry, and it's going to... Oh, no! That's bad. That means he's going to lose a health, I think. Actually, no. Right now, let me see what happens. That's a weird circumstance. I haven't had that one come up yet. Filled his board, and then a new monster comes on the board, and we have to put out another monster. Let's see what this says. Yeah, we would immediately suffer that effect. So basically this one's going to come out. I'll just put it, yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, he would take a health from that. So boom. Okay, that really bites, man. Wow. So here's what we have. As you can see, things are getting tougher for us already, but I think his best bet is to stay there right now and attack that guy. The incubus that's in that space right there we're going to get 4 dice. Hopefully we get 2 red, because that's what we need. And that's kind of rough, but we can do it. Especially since he gets extra dice. Let's see if he can pull it off. And he did. He got a red and a white. The white is wild. He killed this guy. This guy has no exit ability, though, so that means his board is going to be free for that next card. Okay, and that is basically... Now, he can still move, and I think that he will. I think he's going to go right here to the center. Now, you can't do anything yet, but next turn he's probably going to have to get rid of... I think we want to get rid of these as quickly as possible, because it only takes 3 to end the game. And now the yellow board has nothing on it. Her board has nothing on it, so we're going to draw a card. We know it's this one. It's going to go in the first slot, the red slot there. Shouldn't have drawn that, but that's okay. Nothing happens on entry, then it's her turn, and this is where we're going to wrap it up. Now, the one thing I didn't get to show you, and unfortunately we're not in a place to do it yet, but we will be next turn, is she's going to move here. She's going to take this banner and turn it red, which would make a heck of a lot of sense right now, right? Because the red... There's 2 red monsters, and they're both... The one that just came out is really beefy. Look at him. He's pretty... The Raging Skull's pretty nasty. So we're going to turn this to red. That's going to reduce his strength by 1. And then she's going to attack this guy. She has no tokens. She just has 3 dice. Let's make sure I pull the gray one out. There we go. These 3 dice to use. She'll attack this guy here. So she succeeded. She got 1 blue icon in her battle. So she killed this guy. And he is gone. That's the end of that round. So basically, guys, you kind of get the picture, right? So on his turn, he's going to have this come out here. None of the other ones take effect. And we're going to draw a card. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. We don't draw a card because his thing is full. He's going to lose yet another health. So we've got to clear his board, right? That is very important. We would not have drawn that. And that's something you have to remember. It's different than... you got to remember some different things from the last game. But basically, now we got 2 of those things out on the board. I'm going to show you his... I'll take his action, because why not? But we're going to take his action and use the ability of that tile that he's on, which is the fountain. And the fountain is... Let me just remind myself if I can take him... Yeah. An activation allows you to remove 2 Grasp of Evil figures and return them to the reserve. They can be removed from a Bastion tile, from a Horde card, or from a hero board, so that means anywhere. So we're going to take both of these and we're going to remove them. That is going to be his action. Then for his turn, he is going to move to this corner, because next turn he's going to try and take these 2 guys on. That's it for that. Now, that Raging Skull, that thing is going to be out there for a little bit, so we're going to have to figure out how to kill some things quickly. Yeah, that's going to be... That's going to be it, guys. We're going to end it right there. So that gives you a really good idea of Last Bastion. Again, if we had gotten 3 of these out on the board in any configuration, we would lose the game. We also lose the game if heroes die twice, I believe. And we also lose the game if all the heroes have been kaput and we haven't been able to bring one back. We also, and the last way we lose the game is by this deck being depleted. We have to defeat the boss or the warlord before that occurs. And let's just take a look at it and see what our warlord was. You'll see how much tougher they are. They're pretty nasty. This warlord was and there's several of them in the game, the Banshee Queen. She's black. She requires 3 black. That means she's a big boss. That means that her ability there is pretty nasty. I'm going to read it to you just so you know what it does. It says the players each place a Grasp of Evil figure on their hero board, and they all lose their powers. So she comes into play, she does her screech, and all the heroes lose their powers. Her reward for killing her, and I didn't really understand this, because you win when you kill her. You get a because you can play on higher difficulties with more than one boss. So if you did that, you would get the reward of a health and a token, call to arms token. Because there is some difficulty level settings in the game. I'll show you that real quick. There it is right there. See, level novice is 1, normal's 1, difficult is 2, and heroic is 3. We played on normal when we played, and we did win, but probably beef it up next time. Anyway, guys, that is the Last Bastion. I hope you enjoyed this as a little quick one. Sorry if I made a couple of missteps in there, but I corrected course on them as quickly as I could, so you see what the gameplay is like. Really cool game. I love Ghost Stories, and this does seem to flow a little faster than Ghost Stories, though not much. It's pretty similar, and I love the fact that there are individual characters with individual abilities, and there's more of them for a better variety than just the 4 monks with the 2-sided boards. I would rather see a lot more characters and tiles come out than have the more static powers. But keeping the game balanced, I imagine that there's some challenges there because it's a very tight game. And winning and losing happens pretty quickly. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. This will be a one-shot, one-video preview of this game because we're going to move on to some other things. Though I might bring this back and do a full playthrough. Let me know if you want that. Anyway, in the meantime, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will talk to you in the next series of something. It's probably going to be 1 of 2 games. We'll see. About doing an unboxing for you in just a little bit. So and please enjoy that. And then we'll probably play that or one other game that I have acquired.